Okay, so I'm gonna try and do a video for the embroidered footballs. I do apologize if I ramble. This is my first ever video tutorial and my first ever football embroidery. So hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, you'll never see the video. If it does, hopefully it'll help you. Okay, so I used, there was already a video of the deconstruction. There was already a video of actually stitching out the footballs. The embroidery file that's in the file section was for the smaller footballs. And I had a 8x12 hoop, and so the smaller football, I think it was for the football mini or the mini footballs. This one is an official size NFL. It was like $18 or $19 at Walmart. And I really wanted to embroider, you know, where the lacing would show. And after asking a couple of questions, a lot of people said once you remove this, that you can still see the outline, which if you look at, it's probably hard to see on the video, but when you remove it, you can see the Wilson outline, and then if you stitch over it, you can still see, it just doesn't look as great as it could. To each their own. I've seen some that look still awesome, but you can still see it, and I just personally decided not to stitch on these. I really wanted to. Someone else had the idea to buy 2 footballs and only use the 2 panels off of each, like basically using 2 half footballs to make a full one and then cutting your own lacing holes, which was an awesome idea. However, this particular football that I bought for $18, I wasn't going to spend $40 on a football for a graduation gift, just because it's a lot of work all by itself, and I wasn't gonna, you know. So anyway, that just personal preference for me. So anyway, when I deconstructed it, I unlaced it. There's an awesome video on YouTube of a guy relacing a football, and he used this tool, and he made it look really easy. And so I just went ahead and ordered one on Amazon. They were like $7, and I have Prime, so it was it was free shipping. So I got that within 2 days before I even deconstructed my ball. I already had my Amazon order here. So I basically unlaced this and put my needle, the needle thing in there, and deflated the bladder. And I left the bladder in, and then when the football was together, I just started like kind of seam ripping, and I was very careful not to rip any of the holes. All the original holes from the stitching is still there. And once I got that apart, I just left this exactly the way it was. I never did take out these stitches or anything. I just unlaced it right there. And then these 2 panels I did have completely apart while I embroidered them. And last night I was sitting watching a movie. I wasn't going to make a video last night because I was sitting here with my family or watching Wall-E. My kids first time saw it and they loved it. So I just went ahead and stitched these together last night while I was sitting watching a movie. But I saved the rest for today so that I can make a video. My husband took the boys to Cabela's for the day so that I could try to make this video and finish this football. So I went ahead and stitched these 2 together. Now my plan is to stitch this whole thing together, and then, which they'll be inside out, because when I stitched them together, I basically had them back to back, and I stitched all the way down one side. So now I'm going to turn this one inside out, and you can kind of line up the holes because they're not perfect. So like you might have, 3 holes that are nicely evenly spaced, but then you might have 3 holes that are like super duper close together. And so you can kind of tell where they line up on the next panel, so I can tell where they originally came apart. So what I'll do is I'm going to put the panels together. I'm going to stitch a couple to show you how I'm doing it. I asked a couple of people, I asked a lot of questions before I started this project. And the people that said that they had used a sewing machine to sew it together said that next time they're going to do it by hand. And then, so I was like, well, if they have a reason to say, oh, next time I'm going to do it by hand, there's a reason why. So I was like, well, I'll just start with the hand sewing. I did pretty well with the baseballs initially. And so I was like, well, you know, if it doesn't work out, I'll just pull it out and try it with a sewing machine. So, but my plan is to stitch this all together, completely inside out, and hopefully I will be able to turn it through this opening, shove the bladder back in, put it through the hole, and air it back up. That's my plan. Hopefully it works. So I'm going to show you the first couple of stitches, and then I'm going to push pause while I finish like one whole side. So I already have, I'm just using regular brown embroidery floss. The embroidery needles, same one I use when I do baseballs. Same floss I use when I do baseballs. When I done baseballs, I waxed it. These stitches really don't show, so I wasn't too worried if it gets kind of snarly. Let's see. Now I just gotta figure out this. I think is the way it went. So you basically kind of hold it together, kind of where it was. I already have a knot in the bottom of my thread. So I'm going to start in the very first hole, which I think is the hole from the other, when I did the other side. So I can see when I go, I tried to go, I would go through the back and then kind of pull it apart to make sure that it's coming through the same hole. But starting it, I can definitely pull it apart. I just want to make sure. Hold on one second while I make sure I've got these holes lined up exactly right. And I might have the wrong side. No, I think this is the way it was. Sorry, again, new to the hole. Okay, so, oh my goodness. Oh, UPS just dropped off something. Okay. Kind of surprised my boxer didn't see that. She usually freaks out. So, going into the first hole. And I already have the knot to keep it from coming through. So then I turn it over. It's hard doing this at this angle for the camera, but you can kind of see the holes in the back of here. Okay. My goodness. And you should know that I actually recorded like a 4-minute video and did the first like 4 stitches of this when I realized my camera wasn't actually rolling yet. So I'm redoing it. I pulled the 4 stitches out and started it again. Okay, so alright, and then every couple of stitches I just pull it super hard. Sorry, let it mess up my thing. So I kind of pull it apart, see it's coming through the right hole, make sure it's going through the next hole in the right spot, and push it through. Alright, into the next one. So, when I put these two panels together last night, I originally just went down. You can kind of see where there's the stitch, and then the stitches on the other side. So it's kind of like a dotted line. I went all the way down like that with a dotted line. And I flipped it inside out, and I kind of pulled on it, and I could tell where it wasn't just quite as tight as I would like it. So then I came back and did where the stitches weren't. So now, here it is. You can see now it's a solid line all the way across. And now when I pull on it, you can't see the stitches from the outside. So I would suggest that, but just make sure that you pull it every couple of stitches and get it as tight as possible. And so I'm gonna pause this just because I'm sitting at a weird angle, and I'm sure you don't want to sit and watch me stitch this thing all the way across. So I'm gonna stitch one side, come back and show you that one side, and then hopefully I can do it like a kind of a test run and make sure it'll fit through the lace opening. So hold on one second. Okay. So I have stitched that third one, and the two halves I've stitched together. And it doesn't look pretty, but it's together and it's tight all the way across. And so I tried to kind of hold this together like it because what I was afraid of is stitching this final piece closed and then not being able to pull it inside out. But I kind of held it and kind of did the best that I think I'll be able to pull it inside out through this hole. So I'm gonna risk it and go ahead and stitch it completely closed on this side now, and then I will come back and show you my attempt to flip it through this hole. And then I have my bladder, I took it pretty much, most of the air is out of it, and this is I'll have to put this back through the hole and air it back up and stuff. But so I'm gonna try this, get this last one done. I will say I had to use my thumb, the tip of my thumb. You can kind of see it's pretty purple, pretty reddish. I've been using a quarter, like once I start to put it through the hole, using the quarter to push it through, because I've bruised the end of my thumb. So little tip, have something metal, flat, quarter or penny or something like that. I did break my thread from pulling it, like once I had it in, pulling it as tight as I could. I broke it a couple of times, but because it's on the inside, you can totally hide. You can see where I started. There's one where I had started. I broke it here. I broke it here going one way, and then I broke it here coming back. So I just went back a couple of stitches and started stitching over it. So, but anyway, so I'll come back after I get the whole thing closed up. Okay. So, I have all four sides stitched together now. And the only thing open is this. And so I figured I'd have a video to show my attempt to turn it inside out. And if it doesn't work, I'll rip a side down or something, but I'm hoping that it will. So. Oh, that's very, very stiff. This might or might not work. break into a sweat. Try to stay in the camera view. Let's see. Making a little bit of headway. Well, if I ever do this again, I'm gonna have my husband come manhandle it. Halfway there, so it might actually work. It's just a matter of turning it. Sorry, I'm sure this is probably torture to watch. Okay, I think I'm getting somewhere. Not the easiest way to do this, but I'm not a big sewer, so I was trying to avoid having to like closing a seam unseen from the outside and that kind of stuff. Oh, I think we're getting there.
Hey, Mom.
Huh? No, leave it charged. Will you go downstairs? Because
Me or him?
I'm making a video. Can you go downstairs for a second?
Okay.
Hayden, it's not even charged. Go.
That is.
Let's go downstairs. Keep her quiet. Okay. Victory. Okay. So it can be done. All you gotta do is break a sweat. Oh, that seam does not look great. Let's see if it's... Oh, that's better. Okay. I think I have a headache now. Exerting pressure. Okay. So. Just make sure you push out all your seams. Oh, my goodness. I may have to take a break just to go any farther. Okay. So, I got all my corners pushed out. Okay. So, here's my bladder. Here's the little inlet. It wasn't glued in any way, so I don't think I'm gonna have to glue it. I know I read something that said to put hot glue or rubber cement or something around it, but there was nothing there to begin with. So I'm gonna try and put it in there so that it ends up kind of in the same vicinity. And there's this like flappy thing. So once you actually have it all in there, it's supposed to cover this gap right here. So I'm gonna pull that out away. And let's see, how do I want to fold this? I'm gonna try to get this in there. Wait, I already lost my hole. Alright. Might have to let a little more air out. Just gonna make sure that find the pointy ends to put them towards the points. There's that one. Okay. Now I lost track of my. There it is. So I'm gonna try. Again, never done this before, but to pinch it and see if I can get it to push through this hole right here. So pull it out a little bit. So here's, probably can't see it, but hopefully you can still see. I don't know if I can do this. I wonder how other people did it. Well, that might not work. Okay, so I've got, there's the hole. There's the valve. So I'm gonna try and shove it in the hole. See if this works. Well, I'm not 100% sure on that. Never done this before, and I forgot to ask about that. I just ripped it on out of there thinking, oh, other people have done it. It can't be that hard, right? Oh, I see a little, I got a little, oh, darn it. Alright, well I'm gonna pause and see if I can figure out a way to get this in. Okay, so I think I found, I'm pushing my thumb on the back of the thing, on the back of the valve, and just pushing as hard as I can. And so there's now like a little corner of it sticking through the hole. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm gonna try to work it around. Ooh, without ripping it, because that would be bad. If we're getting there. So sorry if this video is horrible to watch. Again, never done this before. Never done the video. Oh, we're almost there. We got it. Look at there. Looky there. Brush my shoulder off. Alright, so I gotta air it up. And then I'll close this thing like this. And then lace it up. I'm not gonna do a video of me lacing it. Because there's an awesome one on YouTube already. But so yeah, I just basically found the back of that, pushed it as hard as I could, and then started working it around and started to pop through. So I guess I just air it up, lace it up, and I have myself an awesome graduation gift for my cousin. So hopefully this video helps. I hadn't been able to find a video that had the actual stitching it back up and putting the bladder back in and everything, but so hopefully that helps everybody. Again, I'll try and leave a review. I don't know if I'm gonna pause and show my ball completed or not, but again, this tool thing is supposed to be able to go through the holes, pull it back through. My I don't even know where my laces are. One of my kids probably ran off with them. But this lace actually came out in 2 pieces, whereas the video that showed him do it, I think he used 1 piece, so I'll have to kind of dissect that video a little bit stronger. But so anyway, hopefully that helps somebody. Again, first timer, so I mean, I think you guys can, to other first timers, I was pretty unsure if I was going to be able to get this done when I sent my dad. I said I'm going to make a football for my cousin, which is his nephew. I was like, I'm going to make a football for, you know, for Austin. Will you grab one from Walmart tonight when you go to Walmart? And he's like, okay. And he brought me the $18 one, and I was like, oh, I hope I don't tear that up. You know, I hope I don't mess it up and then messed up an $18 ball. But so anyway, everybody enjoy.